Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Well, hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to the Main Street Electrical Podcast, episode number 152. Jen, we are coming upon 3 years podcasting together, right? 3 years now. Before that, I had 2 years of Disney podcasting under my belt, which I skipped some weeks and whatever. So like 3 years of Disney podcast. So really, I'm coming upon 6 years of doing a Disney podcast. So where are we on Divas? Where are we on? Because you're at like 198.
We're at 199, and then we recorded 2 episodes. One, we're like, okay, we're gonna do this for 200. We were all set, and then something happened. One of our guests couldn't make it on, and then we just haven't rescheduled. So, but what's crazy is we've almost got up with Main Street. Divas, we are, when was that, 2016, 2015? Isn't that terrible? I can't remember.
Well, you guys were going week to week for a long, long time. Most of it, actually.
Didn't miss. I think it was like 3.5 years. We did not miss an episode. Yeah. We did really well. And then life happened, and so I mean, it's still there, and we get an episode in the hopper, and we get good listeners whenever we do. It's just, yeah.
Well, we're crossing our fingers for 200 because it's fun to hear you and Christine just go back and forth and just talk, and really, it's like, okay, we're going to talk about Disney just to be able to cross it off the list. What else we're going to talk about? There's makeup, and there's suitcases, and there's traveling, and there's whatever. And then, okay, I guess we're good. It's been an hour and a half. So it's
kind of like Divas dishing about whatever we feel like.
Pretty much. Well, how did you Disney this week?
So this week I Disneyed by actually adding to my Disney displays, of course, in my new house.
Of course.
I have one over here that people can't see, and it's got like some of my.
You're pointing to the castle, which is nice.
Yes, to the castle. No, actually, I have a little cabinet attached to my desk, and I have some of my memorabilia in there. I also located more of my memorabilia in the storage unit, and including some really cool mugs I forgot that we had. I was like, oh yeah, and so I put those in our displays.
Fun.
Space Mountain mug, and just like some really, really cool ones that were like limited edition. So
fun times. Well, this is as we expected it to be. This was a very, very busy 7 days for Disney.
Yeah.
Announcements galore. Of course, the Halloween tickets are now on sale, so we had to jump on those.
Yes.
Annual passes came on sale,
yes.
And we were there. A bunch of us were there at 5:30 in the morning, 4:30. I was here 4:30 in the morning. They said no later than 6 a.m. No earlier than 6 a.m. They would go on sale. I was there at 4:30 because the moment I wasn't is when they dropped them at 4:45 in the morning, and I missed out. Of course, my wife, my lovely wife, Steph, was like, do you need to be up that early? I'm like, probably not, but this is Disney. This is Disney.
We don't know. So we're just going to make sure.
So, I get into the queue over 2 computers and even take both of them downstairs and put them on the counter in the kitchen as my kid is getting ready for school, go to the bus, come back. And both times it's like, if you've ever been in a Disney queue for anything, not just you, Jen, but anybody. It will tell you like over an hour wait, and then you watch those minutes kind of drop, 57 minutes, 55 minutes, approximately 43 minutes. I got all the way down to like 24 minutes, and then it jumped up to back up to 35, and then back up to 50, and then suddenly back over an hour. So I'm like, well, let me just call. So I get on the phone and I call, and 2 computers are still waiting over an hour wait. This is 4 hours into this process by this point. And of course, our friend Kyla, also on the phone. She gets through before I do, and she sends me a message. She's like, "Give me your information. I'll get it for you right now." And I did what you love to do, Jen. Send credit card information to me.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, I trust Kyla.
People. Please don't.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. I will tell you this: any travel agent that ever tells you to submit credit card information via email or messenger, be like, maybe I should look at a different travel agent because they're not caring about your info.
And if you think we're asking for that, we're not. Like sometimes I'll be like mid message, and I'll be like. Hey, I'm going to send you, like, I just need to grab your payment information. And then like, if I'm messaging and I'll like, hit enter, and then I'm like typing, I'm going to send you a secure portal, blah, 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 blah. Like in the meantime, I get it. I'm like, no, that's not, no.
Exactly.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
I mean, I've FaceTime with a client before. I'm like, can you just hold the card up? I'll get the number down real quick and make the payment. We got to make the payment in the next hour. Let's do it. Hold the card up. I'll, don't say any words. Just hold it up, whatever. And then delete this. We'll delete all the records of this FaceTime. That's an extreme example. But yeah, don't do that. But anyway, I sent it over to Kyla. I'm like, here it is. And so we got all the information and I got my annual pass and I'm so excited. I am an AP holder. And after I disconnected on both computers and hung up the phone because I had somebody pick up as soon as I was typing the information in, like in my Disney account. I'm like, I'm going to type it in just in case. If it doesn't work, I can talk to whoever picks up. As I'm typing it in, the cast member picks up. She's like, thank you for calling Disney, whatever. And I'm like, well, honestly, I needed an annual pass. However, I was able to just get one. It's in my MDE account now. It works. So if you'll send me on over to the survey, I'll give you 5 stars across the board.
Right.
And she was like, thank you so much. That's fantastic. I really appreciate that. I was like, you have a wonderful morning. And I gave her 5 stars, even though I couldn't remember her name and the whole thing lasted like 2 minutes. But I have an annual pass, which is nice. Also, I got to say this. I signed up for the Disney virtual 5K this summer. And they have the Mickey Mouse medals. There are 3 5K medals. And if you do all 3 of them, you can get a completer medal. And I'm like, each one's $48. And the completer medal is like $160. Basically, you're paying for the medal. It's the honor system, right? So I could not do anything, and they could send me the medals. But
wait, are they all 5Ks or is it 5K?
They're all 5K. Just 3 5Ks, just for the summer, just June through August. And so, I'm at the gym, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot about the 5K. Let me go home real quick, and got home and logged on like 10:10. All 3 individual races were sold out. The completer race, the challenge, was not. And I'm like, do I want to pay $160? Yes, I do. And as soon as I did, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Now I'm locked in. I got 3 5Ks this summer. I'm going to get some cool medals. I've started hanging them on my wall in my office. So yeah.
Oh, I have my medals. I have all my medals over there. I haven't hung them yet, but I have all.
Well, obviously I can't see them on the wall. Well, you haven't hung them yet, so that didn't help. But how do you hang them on the wall? Do you have just hooks? Is there like
Would you like me to get something? I can show you. Give me a second.
Sure. Let me see. I'd like to see. So Jenn is getting up. She's going across her room now to look and see what she's got in store, what she's using to hang medals, because I just use them command hooks on the wall.
Wait, what? Oh, sorry. I couldn't hear you. No, I do not have.
That's okay. I'm talking to the audience, so it's not dead space.
Yeah.
I use command hooks, but I would love to have something more, a little. Oh, I see. Okay.
Race
like
bling. It is what is printing? Why did my printer start printing?
You have a ghost printer. Jenn, your new house is haunted. Was it built on an Indian burial ground?
No, I don't think so. I don't either. Brady's home or I don't know what I just did. Anyway, it says race bling. I think I got it from Amazon. And you just mount it on the wall and then you just hang your medals right there.
I love it. I love that. That's awesome. I have a command hook. I just hung some stuff on the walls and command hooks we had lying around. So I'm going to hang these up and then I might do something later on. Once I get to these 4 medals that are coming in the fall for the summer, I might do something different. But all I have is my Lion King Virtual K medal from last summer or 2 summers ago, whenever it was. And then I have my Castaway Key medals where I ran the 5K and then biked the 5K. And I'm like, both of those get hung up. So I hate running. That's the whole thing. It's kind of fun. So, let's talk about some Disney news. So I guess we'll start with the bad news. The Fantasmic Dragon caught on fire. I mean, flat out just busted up on fire. Disneyland, Fantasmic. You can see the videos. They're all over the place because people love to share bad news about Disney. Anytime something bad happens, they're like, hey, you guys look at this. It was sent to me like 3 times from well-meaning friends. Did you see this? Yes, I saw this. I'm a Disney travel agent. A travel agent who specializes in Disney. Let me correct that. Yes, I've seen it. I know more than you do, actually. But the Dragon caught on fire. Apparently, the cast members were hospitalized or at least treated with medical care for smoke inhalation. Everybody's fine. No major injuries. Everybody was evacuated. And apparently, Disney has ceased all fire elements of everything worldwide parks. So
so that means back to the steampunk dragon. That's no more flames right now.
No more flames or anything like that. So which is really sad. I'm looking forward to hearing what went wrong. It probably something like faulty wiring or whatever, but it's a pretty intense video. That whole thing just goes up in smoke, which is insane. So good news, however. The good news, however, more meet and greets are coming back to the parks. Yes. Moana is now meeting and greeting in Animal Kingdom over on Discovery Island. Jen, do you remember where Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Eeyore used to meet across from Flame Tree Barbecue, that kind of off to the side little
You know what's funny is like I know that they did cognitively, but I did not go see them there. I saw King Louis and Baloo.
Oh,
and
so
it's
you
like
saw the
that's right.
first
So
iteration of
this
these.
is like the
Okay.
first iteration, but yes,
Right.
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep. So that's where it is. And if for those of you who are older fans of Animal Kingdom, that is the Discovery Riverboats dock that used to be there, not anymore. But you can go eat. Correct that. You can go meet Moana there, and they have the music playing. They have a great display behind her of all the artifacts and all the Moana-y type things, which would be great there. Coming May 14th, the Edna Mode experience is returning to the reimagined Pixar.
That was fabulous. I mean, the original iteration is the one I know of, but yeah.
I'm looking. Well, it wasn't around that long before everything shut down. So I assume they're going to be kind of doing some of the same stuff. I don't know that for sure.
Yeah. So that was, I want to say when I did it was during, I can actually tell you the dates. That's what's crazy. It was like March 4th through 6th because I was down for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the media event. And I was walking through Hollywood Studios and I was like, oh, that's right. The new Pixar area opened. I haven't been to, and like the Incredibles are walking around. There's the and I love me some Edna Mode. So I had to go meet Edna Mode. And for whatever reason, there was no line. Like it was, I don't know if I just hit it at the right time and like she had just come back, but regardless, there was no line. I like walked in, I got my picture with Edna Mode. It was fabulous. And then like it's been closed ever since. It was so cute.
It's one of those attractions that if you don't know it's there, you won't know it's there. If that makes any sense. Like it's instead of as you're walking towards Toy Story Land and you go right into Toy Story Land, instead of going right, you go straight.
But right by the Joffreys.
Yes, exactly. But because it's been closed off for so long, a lot of people don't pay attention to what's back there.
Because they had it closed. Like they literally had the gates closed. You couldn't even see back there.
Yeah, it's just it's really funny because I think like I missed it. I didn't miss it, but I never went back there either. I just take a ride to go to Toy Story Land. They never forget it's there. But Edna Mode is going to be there. The Incredibles will be meeting there.
Yes.
Frozone will be meeting there. And completely unrelated to all three of those, Sully will be meeting there. And I don't know why they don't have Mike meeting as well. It's just I don't know if Sully's an easier character or what.
No, but they've had Mike meet before because I have my picture with him from 2007.
They had a Mike and Sully meet and greet area back there, back before they messed, I don't want to say messed up, right before they leveled all of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't have Mike. Maybe they'll bring him back eventually, but at least we're getting Sully. So I like that we are getting some Monsters Inc. back.
I think this would be a great place, and maybe they will rotate characters in and out. Because this would be a great place to meet Miguel from Coco.
Oh yeah.
Mirabelle. Well, they're Pixar, so Mirabelle's not Pixar.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. That's right.
But Merida, because she's not going to have a meet and greet now in June whenever they move Mirabelle.
She's not Pixar. Is she Pixar?
Yes, she is. She's Brave. Have you even seen a Disney movie?
I have. Wait, but was Merida Pixar?
Merida is Pixar. Brave is from 2012.
I know it too. I remember something like that. I don't know why.
The Oscar-winning film for Best Animation that year.
I just thought it was classic Disney animation. I forgot that was Pixar.
It is not. It is Pixar. It is Pixar. Now, I want to say she was the first Pixar princess. She might be one of the only Pixar princesses. Now that I'm running.
Is there more than one?
Movies.
I don't think. I think she's the only one. Then
I think she's it. But
and honestly, that's probably why I go classic Disney animation because every other princess, including Anna, actually Anna and Elsa are not official. So
true.
So never mind.
Elsa is the queen. Anna is a princess now.
Anna is a princess, but she's not. They were never inducted.
I think because Frozen 2 was coming out, so they didn't want to put her in a spot where they had to. It's very. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but they are not actually official princesses.
So, very weird. I mean, people will call them Princess Anna, Princess Elsa, regardless, so it doesn't even matter.
But you get pushback on Queen Elsa. You will get pushback on Queen Elsa.
I think they can do a lot with that area, and I think they can really just. I mean, it's one of the character meet and greets are one of those things where I feel like Disney's doing very good. They're really bringing back characters and stuff, but I feel as if they could do even more with it because people are clamoring for characters. Oh my gosh, yes. I would love to see, and I think I mentioned this with Hollywood and Vine, with Mickey and with Minnie's, Hollywood Dining or whatever. Make that breakfast or that lunch or even that dinner, do a different set of characters every season. Do a Robin Hood season and do an Aristocat season and do an Incredible season or whatever. And you have different characters.
I think for breakfast you could get away with that. I don't think you get away for dinner.
Why not? Why couldn't you think? I mean, because you're just making Minnie in there now. It's you're just
I
doing different
know,
characters.
but
a
there's
little
so
bit of
much
different.
demand for the classic characters. I think
Mhm.
the longtime fans, like we would love that. But I think you'd have
Right.
to limit the rotating characters to a single meal.
True.
Because
I
I
am
think
also
there's so
thinking
much.
too of us being a little bit older, myself being a little bit older, and you now in your mid 30s. I am thinking that. But you could also do, and hey, Josh, listen to this. You and Bob take note of this because you're going to make bank by doing this. Have a throwback night where you do have those old characters at the Magic Kingdom. Charge $150 a person and have those
Well,
Robin Hood characters and
that's what
all
they-
your Snow White characters. I know Disneyland did some of that, but
They do that at DVC nights sometimes. It's amazing.
they-
Like they did Disney
but do it-
Afternoon. I had like Darkwing Duck. I was like,
oh,
this
see,
is
that would be
great.
amazing. And have every land have a different set of characters, and just
Mhm.
because I would easily wait an hour for Meg from Hercules because I never see them. Find those characters you never see, and you know.
Mhm.
But also with this Pixar thing, you can bring back Pixar characters that you don't
You
know
could.
because nobody knows Ian and Barley from Onward. They're not in the parks at all. Bring them in for a season. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'd be So that's
No,
that.
I agree. It would be cool to do some more with that.
Come on, Josh. Come on, Bob. Get on that. Get on that. Jen, have you ever played pickleball?
I have not. I've seen people play pickleball, but I have never personally played pickleball.
Pickleball is one of those random things that suddenly is just everywhere.
Like it just exploded.
I don't know the rules. My men at my church play it. They've
Yeah.
invited me to play it. I'm like, I don't do Sudoku
It's
because I
kind
don't
of like
understand how to play.
tennis,
I'm not doing
but
pickleball
not
either.
like
It is. I don't know
tennis.
the scoring. I played before, but I don't know the scoring. Like I would have to
How
go
did
with
you
people
play if you didn't know the
directing me to go.
scoring?
I didn't keep score. I mean, I was just
Uh-oh.
doing what I'm told to do, and I knew how to serve and stuff. But then they're like, "Okay, it's 4-2, blah blah blah. It's your serve, my serve. No, it's over your serve over here. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, well, you be over here. I didn't understand the rules. I just did what I was told.
Smart.
And so it was really really hard. But apparently, they are now having pickleball courts at some of the resorts
Yeah.
in Walt Disney World,
All
Old
right.
Key West, the Animal
Okay.
Kingdom Villas,
Mhm.
Yacht and Beach Club, and the Contemporary now have pickleball courts. So
Interesting.
if you are a pickleball player and you want to go play yourself some pickleball, head that way, and there you go. Head that way. So finally, with the AP news coming out, they are really trying to push the Star Cruiser, and I think it's suffice to say, and if anybody from Disney higher ups hearing this, I don't think I'm insulting you by saying it's not the preceding years after the opening initial year has not been quite as successful as they wanted it to be, because again, we've talked about how everybody who has the huge Star Wars fans, they've gone, but because it is a very higher price because of what you do and what you get, they're not going back. Like I would love to do it once, but I don't know that I could justify doing it twice. And so they are doing all kinds of extreme discounts now for annual pass holders, DVC. There is this whole selection
and
of
a
dates
Visa card.
Is it
holders.
Visa card holders as well?
Also
Okay.
Disney Visa card holders.
Okay. All right. So it is up to a 30% discount on most voyages for Star Cruiser in the end of April here, May and June. They added another one for July 2nd. So it goes into July. And it's just Disney trying to fill these and everything. And there's lots of dates in May, like the voyages 2, 3, 6, 9, 12,
and it is such a
13
great
days in May.
experience.
So-
I mean, and the thing is, I would go back. Like I will at some point go back. Not this year.
So
it's not in the cards for this year, but I will go back.
I am interested to see what they're going to do with Star Cruiser, because I don't know if they can continue to fill it, because Disney is, and it's just business sense. You don't want to suddenly drop your prices because then it looks like you're discounting whatever.
Right.
Nobody wants to do that, right? So I don't know if they're going to change it up. I don't know if they're going to offer different things, different seasons, maybe a Mandalorian adventure of some sort. Again, we've talked about that before, where I feel like the sequel trilogy, which a lot of this is based on, has not been quite as popular as people wanted it to be.
Right.
So they're having to do some different things, and most fans honestly don't care about canon. I mean, some fans do.
Some do.
I don't want to see Jar Jar Binks and Kylo Ren together, because that doesn't work at all. But at the same time,
can I just say I don't want to see Jar Jar? Am I just allowed to say that?
I like Jar Jar.
Period?
I really did. Jar Jar's okay. He was a misunderstood
He's
character.
like okay, but like, give me an Ewok. Can I have an Ewok?
Perfect. We can do an Ewok.
Okay.
We can do an Ewok. So, but I think that they're just going to have to kind of figure out exactly how they're going to do it. And final bit of news here. And this is just a shout out to guy Pete Werner, which we've met once or twice here and there along the parks. Of course, he is the lead co-host of the Diz Unplugged. And I just want to give a shout out to him because he's been the host for that for 17 years now. he is stepping away from the Diz Unplugged. The other men and women on the show, including Rhino, which we've had on the show before,
Oh,
is going to take the role over. Pete will still be doing other shows for Diz Unplugged, so he's not leaving the company itself. He actually co-owns the company. But I did want to just say thank you to Pete for all the entertainment you've given. It's always interesting because sometimes you love everything he's saying, sometimes you don't like anything he's saying, but he's never afraid to speak his mind. So shout out to Pete, and a good luck to you on the rest of the stuff there. Jen, Animal Kingdom 25th anniversary.
Yes.
They released a time capsule, which you can find the video on TikTok. I think I sent the video to
you. Did send. I just looked through.
You can watch it later at your disposal.
Well, I know. I sort of scrolled like that's crazy.
It's really fun because obviously 25 years have gone by, and a lot of things have. I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of things have changed in 25 years.
Who knew? I haven't changed, so I don't know. I don't know. I still look the same and stuff.
The iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, Facebook, MySpace, Google. These are all things that came to prominence in the last 25 years that didn't really exist in like even maybe 20 years ago. I've seen the social network. I know how Facebook happened. And so it's, remember, I guess 98 with BlackBerries, you had to have a BlackBerry. Maybe it was the end of the pager era. Did you ever have a pager? I never had a pager.
I never did have a pager. I had friends who had pagers, but I never had a pager.
I was never rich enough to have a pager or a cell phone until I got married. And then my wife made me get a cell phone.
See, we had a family. So when I was in high school, we had a family cell phone. Like it was my parents' cell phone, and my mom would typically have it. But like whenever I was old enough to go on dates or whatever, like I would have the cell phone because they wanted to get in touch with me if they needed to.
Do you remember those days of going to the parks early on when you had no way to communicate with each other other than just tell you, hey, meet here at 3:00.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe you didn't even have a watch on. So you were wandering around going, excuse me, cast member, what time is it? 2:45. Okay, let me run over here. And what I tell my guests, my clients that go to Disney World, if you make plans to meet somewhere, never just say at the castle or at the tree.
No, you need to be very
specific. Such a huge area. Be like, meet me at the entrance of Mission Space by that big globe there. Meet me there or something like that. Don't just say at the spaceship berth. You don't want to
meet me in the hub. Yeah, that's not going to work.
During fireworks? No, don't do that. No. But some of the things they unearthed, circling back to Animal Kingdom, floppy disks, which I can honestly imagine. I would imagine there are probably people, their cast members, looking at this having no idea what that actually is. Not a clue what those things are. And so there's that. They had VHS copies with like some of the park construction and everything. There were maps from 98. They had some opening day stuff there as well. Some really, really just fun stuff just unearthed and uncovered there. So I think that's just great. There was a signature, like something a lot of cast members had signed with, because they had this wood paneling letters and numbers. That was kind of the symbol for Animal Kingdom. And there's a letter that they released that was written in 98, put in there for the cast members of today. And I just think it's cool. I think it's fantastic. So,
I love stuff like that.
I don't have any time capsules. I did accidentally break my Mr. T action figure in like 1988. So I did bury him in the yard of our old house when I was a kid when I lived there. And I've often wondered what that state of that particular action figure might be now. So at one point, someone's like going to dig up the yard and be like, what? Probably. I even drew a little American flag and folded it up into a little triangle and stuck it in the box. I did. It was Mr. T. His head fell off. It was really sad. Yeah, right. Poor fool got pitied. Anyway, speaking of bad times, what we're going to talk about today is our least favorite attractions. Womp, womp,
this is kind of fun, though.
Now, this isn't the worst attractions. I didn't want to say worst because I don't want to be like, this attraction sucks and I hate it, because there are some attractions that are very good attractions that I just do not like, that I don't care for. Mm-hmm. And there were attractions that are terrible attractions that I don't care for. And so we're going to kind of run through real quick our top 5. Maybe I should say bottom 5. These are the bottom 5 attractions. These are all current attractions that we just do not care for, do not like.
Yeah.
And I will kick it off with number 5 for me. And that is the Beauty and the Beast sing-along performance thing at Hollywood Studios.
Wait, is that a single? Is that a sing-along?
I don't know. Maybe not a sing-along. Just the
sing-along's at Epcot. It was just a show.
Well, it's just a show, and it's boring. Like, it really is. Like, I'm not entertained. Half the time you're sitting in the sun because the canopy doesn't cover the whole thing.
That's how
I don't care for it. I don't like waiting in line for it. If there was nobody in the audience, I might show up just to get out of the sun for a little while. This is an example of a good attraction. People love it. I don't care. I just don't. I could care less about this attraction. I can't remember the last time I've seen it. I know it was pre-COVID. when they brought it back, everybody was like, "Yay!" And I'm like, "Hey, clients, they brought it back. You can go see it," because I won't. And just not a fan of the Beauty and the Beast stage show musical thing. Nothing wrong with it, just not me.
That's fair.
Jen,
That's fair.
what is your number 5 on your list?
Okay, I always give this caveat. At any given moment, most of these could change. My number 2 and number 1, they won't change. So let me just stick with Hollywood Studios with this one. And again, this is not a bad show. I have no use for it. And that would be the Disney Junior play, dance, sing, whatever that thing is. I have zero use for that show because I have no children. I myself do not watch Disney Junior. I do not need to go see Disney Junior shows. I know that is wonderful for children. And if that is your favorite show, I'm really sorry. I just have no use for it. I'm sure it is wonderful. That's all I
got. Okay. I've seen it once. My kid saw it because he was into Disney Junior for about 2 weeks, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and all that good stuff. When I saw it, it was puppetry. I don't even know what it looks like now.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you.
And honestly, as a 47-year-old dude, I would not go see that show by myself because I feel like I would end up on a list somewhere. That's just like, somebody asked me, they were like, "You're a movie fan. Are you going to go see the movie Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret?" And I'm like, not by myself. And I'm probably not going to go see that because that is not a movie I should go see by myself in the theater. That is a Chris Hansen walking in going, "Why don't you have a seat right there?" kind of thing. That is no. So I'll catch that on Stars and cable next year or something if it comes to it. But if you listen to my movie podcast, that's probably not a movie that will get reviewed.
I was going to say, I have a feeling that none of you guys are going to be reviewing that one.
No. Well, out of the 3 of us, I would be the one to go see it, but I don't. Yeah, it's not a movie for me.
That's fair.
Number 4 on my list, and this is this is like you. This is an attraction that people love, but for me, Astro Orbiter, it's a waste of space. Pun intended space. The ride itself is not bad. Once you get on the ride itself, you get to see the views of the parks.
I actually rather like it once you're on it.
The queue is the worst queue in the parks.
100%.
All 4 parks, maybe even Disneyland,
100%.
2 parks over there. And for those of you who've never experienced it, here's the queue. Okay, while everybody to the left of you is in the line for the people mover, and they're just
moving, and they're moving pretty quickly.
People are moving, and that line is continually moving. Even when it stops, it doesn't stop for very long.
I mean, I'm rarely in line more than 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
If that.
And I tell guests, I'm like, hey, if you see that line like sticking way out of the actual queue line stuff, just get in line. It's fine.
Don't worry about
deal. Astro Orbiter, you have to get into these square corrals. But you get into the line, first of all. There's really not a lot of shade. You get into these corrals and you'll wait until the ride goes up. And then you go into an elevator, you cram all into an elevator, you go up top, and then you're waiting in another corral. In a 125
degree heat box. And we can just keep talking about this because this was next on my list. So
well, there we go.
But listen, don't get rid of Astro Orbiter. I will be ticked. As a Disney fan, I will be so upset if they close down this ride because this is a classic. However, it's not for me because that freaking heat box, I'm like dying. It's the only thing. Do you know the last time I rode that was during a freaking tropical storm because nobody was in line? I'm like, we can go right.
At least the heat's not killing you at that point. I mean, that's at least you have a story behind
my face, but.
Oh, we're not even through the queue yet, Jen. Remember, you have to go up the elevator with like 25 of your closest friends. Up the elevator, get into another corral. Yes. Now, every ride itself takes about a minute. I would say about a minute, maybe of riding, minute and a half.
Yeah,
something like that. But then you've got about 60 seconds to a minute and a half of loading and unloading. So you're talking 3 to 4 minutes each time. So you're in the corral with everybody at 3 to 4 minutes. Then you're in the elevator going up, off the elevator 3 to 4 minutes. Then another 3 or 4 minutes of getting on the ride itself. Yes. It's not a high capacity ride. Your small children can sit in front of you, great. But if you're with somebody like friends, you don't want to sit together in this thing.
Heck no, it's uncomfortable.
It's weird. It's very weird and uncomfortable, but it's very weird. Because I think I went with family and like my nephew or niece was like 10 or 11. Like, hey, can I ride with you? I'm like, no, you're not going to ride with me because we're not sitting like that.
Just the way it's like set up. It's not like a Dumbo where you could share a Dumbo.
It's like Space Mountain except without the seating.
Yes,
it's just an open hole.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's like Disneyland. The one that hurt your butt. Matterhorn
again.
A little bit like the Matterhorn, although the Matterhorn does have seat backs, which Astro Orbiter does not have.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not comfortable. It is not comfortable. Again, if you're up there at night, if you can get into the ride with no wait, do it.
Absolutely.
But you don't find this ride with no wait very often. And it's it's never not Lightning Lane ride. I don't think it's on Lightning Lane, is it?
No,
it's not. So there's not.
It's never been Fast Pass, Lightning Lane,
Never
anything.
Fast Pass.
Because how would you? With gotta get the elevator.
Right. I feel like there's an easier way to do this, because when you're done, you have to go back down the elevator with 25 of your closest friends.
Again,
now
it's
all hot and sweaty
125 degrees, and it
Not a fan.
stinks because the BO, the person next to you, did not use Dial
Nope.
or any sort of deodorant. So no.
Aren't you glad you used Dial? Don't you wish everybody did? So that was your number 4. So I'll jump down to number 3. Number 3. This is a ride that I like, but I'm putting this on the list here because it's not a ride that I go on very often. And as I'm getting older, I am no longer I can't do Guardians 2 times in a row. I have to do Guardians, wait 30 minutes and do it again. When I was
that better not be on this list.
15 years younger, I could hop right on that thing, but just go. Now I'm like, things are starting to creak and tweak a little bit more than they should have. Mission Space. Now, I like Mission Space. But I'm kind of getting to the point now. I'm like, it's a ride that I have to be prepared to ride. I can't have just eaten on this ride.
Okay.
But I also
now, are we talking the orange or the green?
Well, the orange. The green is really not a problem, honestly.
Okay.
The green's a motion simulator. It's not a big deal. But the orange is a centrifuge. And it cost $100 million. Big fanfare when it opened. I remember coming off of this ride in 2007, not too long after it opened. People were along benches. They were holding bags, because there were actually sick bags in the attraction itself, just in case. It's an attraction that you have to be ready for. You can't go on an empty stomach, but you don't want to go on a full stomach. So you got to find that happy medium of, okay, I ate lunch at 12. I'm sort of hungry. But I'm not real hungry, but I'm sort of hungry. Maybe now's a good time to go in the next 15 minutes. Okay, now I'm really hungry. Crap, I can't go. It's just, there's too much work involved. It really is.
This issue, I can just get on and it doesn't bother me.
Well, and the queue itself, like the queue that had that big wheel that used to move, which was really awesome.
That
doesn't move anymore.
I know. Don't get me started.
Like I feel like they've taken some of the elements away. Lieutenant Dan is not there anymore. Now they've got somebody else. They ruined the queue. They ruined the queue.
Yeah.
So
I'm
going to put Mission Space on there on my bottom 5, only because I just feel like it's a ride that, and once you hit your 40s in a couple of years, Jen, things may be different for you. But yeah.
I'll take the compliment. But
you said it's a ride you can just hop right back on.
I can hop right back on. It doesn't bother me.
That's not a ride you do very often, though, is it? It's not one you're like, I'll do Mission Space every time.
No, here I don't. And that's because Brady can't do it all the time. Okay. And if he does it, he has to do the green.
Again, Brady's closer to my age than yours. So there you go.
No, but he never could. Like, even when we went in 2006 on our honeymoon, he could do it, but like it would wig him out a little bit, and he'd have to like sort of chill for half an hour. Yeah. So I understand that it's not everybody's cup of tea. I just have always been a thrill seeker, and it doesn't bother me.
I love thrills. I love thrills. I just have to be a little more careful with my thrillies, because they're not quite as good as they used to be. So yeah. Okay. So what is your number 3 on your bottom 5?
I'm actually keeping it in Epcot, my beloved Epcot. And again, I'm not slighting this attraction. I have to call it an attraction. I just have no use for it. And it's the Pixar Film Fest.
That was my number 2.
Yeah, because I can watch it on Disney Plus if I want to watch one of those shorts. I get like the only use I have for it is if it's like blazing hot and I want to get out of the sun. But honestly, I'm probably more liable to go like chill out in a country somewhere, or I don't know. It could be that area could be utilized better, in my opinion.
That's the hard part too when you're coming to a list like this, because not only are you thinking about the attraction itself, you think about, well, this is a waste of space. This is like a total waste. Like if somebody did not like Avatar or Flight of Passage, people may not like the ride itself, but you wouldn't look at it going, well, that's a whole waste of space. They can
absolutely not. Right.
You're not going to say a ride you don't care for. I get it.
Yeah.
This is because even before this was what Captain EO was for the longest time. And then they had Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, which at least was kind of a little inventive. It kind of shook and everything.
It was cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there is some of that. And
then they brought Captain EO back.
Got Captain EO back. And then they brought back, then they put it in the Pixar Film Festival, which I think to me was a stopgap. Like I feel like they just stuck it in there to have something until they developed it into something else. And then they're like, we got bigger fish to fry. Let's keep it there. I mean, it's the same, and it's the same 3 shorts. It's not as if they're rotating. That's the other thing too. It would be different if every couple of weeks they had a new short come in, or every season, or his Christmas time we get some. The same 3. It's the Luna, I think the stars, whatever, the stars falling, and Mickey's Get a Horse, And there's one more that I can't remember what it is.
The lava is it the?
No, it's not lava. Well, for the longest time, I want to say it was for the birds, maybe.
Oh, maybe it was that one. I know it was the stars. I know it's the star one.
Yep,
I know
that's called Luna.
Mm-hmm. Luna, and then it's the Mickey horse, and then what is that other one? Well, clearly it's been that long.
Yeah. Well, since you put that one down on your list, I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to go with my number 2. And you may have this on your list too. I don't know. Tomorrowland Speedway.
That was my next one, so that works.
Perfect. And your number 1, I kind of have an idea what your number 1 is going to be, but we'll get there. Tomorrowland Speedway. This is in relation to Pixar Film Festival, where it is a waste of space. There's so much more. Again, this also leads into not just waste of space, but potential being missed. I feel like there's so much more they could do with this setup.
This was almost my number 1. Let me just be very clear about this. This was almost my number 1.
It's smelly. It's loud.
Yes.
It's I cannot imagine cast.
You cannot get those things to go fast. I mean, I'm sorry.
You can't. You can't. And it's before, at least you had Tron to look at when you're going by. Go, look, the construction of Tron. Now it's already built, so it's like, okay, there's Tron, and it's not fun. I mean, it really for small children it is, but
like Autopia in Disneyland is better. Like it's more scenic. It's more beautiful. I have zero use for the Speedway. Like I literally. I want
even
fun.
The theming, and we mentioned this before last week.
There is no theming.
No theming. I mean, you can make this into a Radiator Springs kind of ride with cars.
Okay, that would even help it.
Or you could even do like Disney classic cars, and like take cars from all over. There's Cruella de Vil's Jalopy or whatever Cadillac or whatever she drives in the movie, and create the different cars and stuff. At least put some theming.
Wait,
in there.
Everybody become a Toad. Why don't we all make it Toad? Dude,
there you go.
We could
perfect.
We could do something with this.
Perfect. Go through a tunnel where it's like all orange and stuff, and really hot in there, like you're going to hell and back and whatever. I mean, you can do some different things like that. That's at least you have some theming there. It's a glorified go-kart with a governor on it. You can't go very fast, and I mean, which kind of makes sense because
I understand putting a governor on it, but also like if I'm flooring it, I should be able to like maybe feel the wind in my hair.
It smells so bad.
It's so bad.
So
bad.
That's your number 2. And I'll get to my number 1 here. My number 1, again, this is one of those things where I look at the Imagineers. I'm like, you guys are doing great. You're so good at what you do. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I wonder when they develop rides, if they've ever actually been to Florida.
Okay.
Because why would you put a spinner ride with no canopy in the middle of the hot blazing sun in Dino Land? Triceratops spin. There is no cover for this attraction.
Is it still open? Oh my god!
It's still open.
They closed it.
It's a Dumbo ride, except it's Triceratops. I think it may be Trixie now. I don't even know if they changed that to Trixie for Toy Story. I have no idea. But at the same time, it is wide open sun everywhere around it. At least in Dumbo, the queue's partly inside. You get a little bit of cooling off before you get into the
play area. So
the whole play area, exactly. Yeah. Aladdin's Magic Carpet, which I know that you hate, but Marcy
I
loves.
do not. It has a canopy.
The queue has a canopy, and it's you get some breeze there or whatever.
And the camel spits on you.
Camel spits on you. If you walk into Dino Land, off in the corner of the Triceratops spin, there's no cover. It's sunlight all around. There's no shade. Mm-hmm. It is a fiberglass lava freaking nightmare. You sit on those seats in your shorts and your leg peels and it sticks to the, and you get up and you're going, and you're left skin on there. It's really like, and I've watched enough Law and Order to tell you that if you're a murderer, you cannot ride this ride because you will leave your DNA skin particles on that attraction. It's awful. It's awful. Triceratops spin. I have no use for this attraction. I have not. This one and I've
never ridden
Orbiter.
I'm sure I've never.
And you shouldn't. You should. You have too much hair. Your head would blow up. I mean, like literally, you would catch fire.
I did like Primeval Whirl. I'm not gonna lie.
Primeval Whirl was fun.
I liked that one.
It was a fun ride. I mean, my back hurt every time I think. Like, my back hurts now thinking about it. Again, because I'm older than you. But
it was comfortable, but it was fun.
And when you turn 35, you'll understand. But yeah, not a fan. But I know what your number 1 is going to be. So let's go ahead and talk about it.
I don't think the audience is. I don't think the audience is going to be surprised. Listen, there's no need for It's Tough to Be a Bug. Like there is zero need for this ride in the world. I cannot express to you, like I was basically forced to go because we were with first timers, and I had to be like, I've got to do this. Okay, it's fine. I went in on our honeymoon. I think that was the first time. Yes, I'm almost positive it was then. It actually might have been college, and I refused to go on my honeymoon. That might have been what it was. I was traumatized. I was traumatized by the spiders, by the feeling of the bugs walking under your butt, and by a bee stinging me in the freaking spine. I was like, there is no need for this. This is gratuitous. And I dislike bugs, and I dislike this whole ride. And I love the Tree of Life because it's gorgeous, and I love seeing the carvings. I want anything other than that. Literally anything. I can't stand it.
That's awesome. I am a pro. It's tough to be a bug. I know when to lean forward so the bees don't hit me in the back. I know when to hold my breath. So Clarita, whatever her name is, the stink bug doesn't spit in my face. I know when to kind of move side to side when the water is coming at me. When the acid is coming at me.
I hate that. I have to close my eyes.
They're animatronic spiders.
I don't care.
Don't
I
even
close
come
my
anywhere
eyes.
close to you.
It doesn't matter. It is the idea, and it's not okay.
Also, this is not an attraction for small children. I have heard numerous children crying out in fear and terror as the spiders come down.
Yep.
As Hopper, which by the way, which I don't even think moves anymore, was the most technologically advanced animatronic they had ever built. It had something like 600 or 700 points of articulation, maybe 1,000, I don't know. I don't mind this attraction. I like as you walk in the queue, it's fun. The posters are really fun on the wall. I don't mind this. This is not one that I do every time. And it's again with Campbell, with our kid, we have to sit towards the back with the wheelchair stroller because he plays on his iPad. He doesn't care. And so Steph and I will enjoy the attraction, whatever. But I understand your vitriol, and I knew it can be number one for you. And I thought about that whenever we came up with this topic.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry if you like this attraction. No.
Oh, don't be sorry. You don't like it.
I don't like it.
Is it one of those that you can see where people like it? It's not a waste of space, but you just don't like it? Or is it why do we have this? This should not be here. Do something else.
I'm going to go as far as I think that the movie is probably underrated as, as a film.
Yeah. It is Pixar, by the way.
It is Pixar, right? I think that the characters are cute. I've seen the movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
I can understand and appreciate why people enjoy the attraction if that's their thing, but nobody talks about this movie anymore. No. I don't know why. It's like, maybe is that because it's like the only representation of this movie like anywhere in the parks? Like I feel like we could just do like a greet with Flick and Princess what is it, Ada?
Princess
whatever.
Ada.
Yeah, like whatever her name is, and Hopper, like whatever. Let's do a meet and greet. Let's do something different. Like make it educational along. Isn't there a thing with like creepy crawlies in one of the treks? It's not the Maharaja Jungle Trek. It's the other one. I think But regardless, like let's do something else in that space that I can enjoy.
What if we turn this into a meet and greet hub?
Fine.
Where you had your Russell and your Doug from Up, and you had your Bugs Life characters, and your Blue and King Louie,
classic Jungle Book characters,
and a lot of the characters that are all from these movies that are like take place in the wilderness and whatever. Do a Swiss Family Robinson meet and greet. Holy crap, people will go nuts for that.
I mean, just
totally.
Robin Hood, yes.
Robin Hood, do an Old Yeller meet and greet. Said it 5 minutes before the end of the movie, but no, I'm not even gonna make a joke. There's too many dog lovers to even make that joke.
No, you can't. That's traumatizing. Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of things on my list. Like looking at old attractions, I probably would say Stitch's Great Escape was probably one of the most horrendous rides.
Oh, that would have been on the list.
It was awful. It was just such a terrible ride. It's just a bad ride.
Alien Encounter.
Alien Encounter. And I didn't mind Alien Encounter. I liked the setup.
I hated
everything. It's just taking this creepy Alien Encounter thing and then turning it into a whimsical Stitch ride.
I hated those more than It's Tough to Be a Bug.
Really? Okay.
I know that's a bold statement.
Turning it into Stitch was like taking the original Nightmare on Elm Street and turning it into a comedy musical. It just didn't work. I mean, there's just
something like that.
And it smelled like chili dogs. The whole ride smelled like
it's disgusting.
Stitch's Great Escape was bad.
It was so bad.
The other ride, now I never got to do this because it was only open for a year or two. Superstar Limo. Did you ever know anything about that ride? It was at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I'm actually jumping coast and everything, but
I was like, you just jumped coast, and I know about the ride. I did not experience the ride though.
It was for those who doesn't know. Basically, it was set. You're in a limo and you're avoiding the paparazzi, and there's all these famous celebrity sightings and jumping up all over you, everything like that. The ride was so hated by people, they turned it into where the Mike and Sully's escape is now. That's where Mike and Sully is. That's Superstar Limo. And if you got to watch Fly, you can actually see little bits and pieces of a limo in there, the kind of Easter eggs they left in there. So anything on your list that maybe doesn't exist anymore that you're like, good?
honestly, what I had on the list was Alien Encounter and Stitch's Great Escape. Like those are the ones, because I mean, like any of the other gone attractions, it's like I felt like they had their day, so to speak. But I enjoyed them. Like there's nothing. In fact,
Splash Mountain, it had its day. Now it's gone.
Right, and now it's gone. But I mean, I liked it for what it was. I mean, I enjoyed the, I enjoy the ride track. I'm going to get to enjoy the ride track again with the big drop and all of that, like whenever it's all refreshed. So there's nothing else I think that I was ever like, oh my gosh, I can't stand that. I want that to go away, But when Stitch's Great Escape was, I was like, woo, yes, okay, let's put something else in there.
The only other attraction I had on my list that did not make my bottom 5 is probably Kali River Rapid, but that's not. I didn't even think about that itself. It's just I don't like those rides.
Agree.
I don't.
It's not enough to not put it on my list, but I just don't care for it.
Like people love the ride, and that's absolutely fine. This was when we did the when my friend and I did the Parkeology Challenge where we rode every ride. This is one of the ones I dreaded the most. I'm like, oh. Thankfully, we did not get wet. I got a little drop in my shorts, a little drop on the shirt or whatever. The girl across from me apparently had not done the ride before because she was in her white shirt, and she was one of the 2 people that got wedged under the waterfall.
No.
And it was very awkward because she was directly across from me. So I was doing everything I could to look everywhere I could, but except in front of her. The guy next to her apparently was able to pull his jacket off and give it to her, but she was soaked and she was putting on a show, and she could tell she was so embarrassed. And me and my buddy and I were just looking up here, looking down, like, hey, so what's going on? Just
trying to be respectful. But I mean, it's that she clearly didn't know what the ride was.
No. And I felt really bad for her. So he put a jacket on and she got off the ride. And I was like, oh, that was awkward. So your bottom 5 attractions. Let us know, folks, what you think your bottom 5 attractions are. List of what you just do not like. Are some of my picks, some of Jen's picks, are they like something you'll be defensive about? Like it's tough to be a bug because everybody loves that ride except for Jenn, right? And so,
I stand by my opinion.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure everybody should be in agreement with me with Triceratops Spin because it's just it's a lava surface of the sun nightmare.
I literally forget it exists. So
yeah. You should ride it next time you go, like in June or July. Make sure you ride that attraction.
Oh yeah, I'll
get
right on that.
The queue is in the hot sun. There's no canopy. There's nothing. You're just standing there. It's like, what the crap? I am melting. Jenn, where can we find you online?
Oh, you can find me at Upon the Star Jenn, or my personal Instagram is at Jen_Novotny.
And you have a trip coming up in just a few weeks, right? Like sometime in May?
Yeah, end of May. So about a month from now, I will be in the parks. So very exciting. And a lot of fun travels coming up this summer. So although my Insta has been quiet, it will be a lot more active this summer.
So this will be about 3 months between park visits. Is that normal, or is this kind of like, it's been a while since I've had 3 months since a park visit?
It has been a while. I mean, I was end of February, so yeah, it'll actually be.
I mean, a lot of things have changed. I mean, Tron's opened up.
I know.
Animal Kingdom is there now. Stitch's Great Escape has closed, by the way.
I mean, so, in 3 months, a lot happened.
Right? You're going to get there and be like, whoa, what is this? I didn't know there were 4 parks. Find me at The Magic on $1 on Instagram. Find me at Magic on $1 and Disney on $1 on Facebook. And of course, find us at Upon a Star Travel and all the usual type places, including TikTok and Facebook and all that good stuff. Yep. So, Jenn, this has been a fun conversation. This has been great.
This has been fun.
We have some big news for the audience coming up in a couple of weeks as we celebrate our 3rd anniversary. I think it'll be like episode 154 or 55. Got some great stuff coming up for the summer. We're going to talk about then. And until then, Jenn, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.